Flow with the show. Hey. Welcome. This is Flow with the Show, episode number 9. 9 is extra fine. I am Toronto electronic music vocalist Flo Anastasia, and with me today, very, very special guest. I'm so excited. Okay, we've got PRFCT Mandem, aka Jev and Aisling, a Latvian Irish-born duo based in Manchester. They've just absolutely been blessing the world with their entertaining DJ sets, hilarious content, wicked music productions, and having only broke through in 2019, are already one of my favorite artists. And I'm so excited they're here with me today. Hey!
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for being here. You guys are so awesome. You bring so much positive energy and love into the world, and every time I see your content, it just makes me smile, or I learn something, or I gain some insight, but usually I'm laughing. And thank you so much for everything you do, for your amazing music. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you very much. To be fair, we were best surprised when you messaged us about to get on the thingy after we watched the Matthews episode that you did. Yeah, it was really cool to watch.
Yeah, such a nice flowing interview.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I was very you can tell now I'm nervous, but and with Memphis too, it's how am I gonna get through this without just exposing that I'm the biggest fangirl? I'm yes, hello, Martin, hello.
Yeah, that's actually
cool. You played it very cool.
Yeah, you played it well. Big up to you.
I think I would be the same. I would be
Thanks, guys. I'm so happy you're here. Honestly, I was first drawn to you just by seeing your hilarious live stream content and stuff, and I just love that you have so much energy in your sets. You're smiling, you're getting silly, you're dancing, and your music itself is really sick when you produce. And I know that you guys only launched in 2019, and already you've grown so much in your careers as artists. And I'd love to take it back a little bit to before you guys even met each other and just talk a little bit about your backgrounds. Aisling, I'd love to start with you.
Yeah, so my background is from Ireland, born and raised. I actually moved out of Ireland when I was 18. I moved to Manchester to attend the Northern Ballet School. So I'm actually a dancer. That's my main background history. I moved to Manchester when I was 18 and I studied for 3 years in the Northern Ballet School. I did the jazz focus course.
Cool.
So I actually did some singing as well. And all sorts of different dancing, ballet, jazz, musical theatre. We did acting, so all sorts of crazy stuff. And yeah,
amazing. Are you still in school? Are you still in that school?
No, I actually graduated. So I moved here. Sorry, I didn't explain that well. So I'm 18, worries. But I'm actually I moved here when I was 18, but I'm 23 now. So I graduated 2 years ago.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I know that, going to a school or any kind of school program is difficult enough on its own, and finishing is a whole other deal if it's the right thing for you. I know for a lot of people it's difficult or maybe not the right thing to finish, but I just think that's so cool that that dancing brought you over to Manchester, and that's what you did. It's so cool. I think it makes a lot of sense. After learning that, seeing kind of your energy on camera and stuff, you're a sick dancer. What can I say?
Thank you. Well, I will hope so.
Well, and Jeff's got some moves over there too. Let's not.
Yeah, definitely dancing.
Yeah, I went into music because of dancing, so we
really?
had something in common.
Yeah.
I'd love to know a little bit more about that.
So I was back in Latvia. There was this new wave in 2007, I think, emerging of new dances, shuffle dance, jump style, electro dance. I don't know if you heard. It's all this new stuff, and we were smashing it with my boys. We'd organize a trio and just like toured the local schools performing at their school theaters and stuff. So we kind of like made our name there on this. But then I tried to do breakdancing and stuff, and obviously I didn't do it correctly and messed up my knees. So I couldn't do it. Yeah. Well, I did wrestling as well, so that also played a good role in the knee stuff. It's a regular stuff that sports people apparently get. And so then the idea to dancing to my own music was emerging, and I started experimenting with Fruity Loop Studio and stuff. So then slowly kind of transformed into passion for music, really.
Amazing.
From dancing, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. What brought you over to Manchester?
Just the music thing, really. When I was 17, my brother is like, he was already living in UK, in London, and he just saw my potential. Like, he just enjoyed seeing me doing music thing and all that stuff, even though I wasn't that good at it at all. And he brought me to UK to kind of pursue the career here, which I really wanted, because at that point it was 2012. It's like the golden age for UKF.
Right.
Monster Cat was emerging and stuff. So like all this dubstep movement, first time heard Skrillex, is like, whoa. And so because in Latvia the club scene is not a thing, like not this type of music at least. And so went to UK, studied in London and worked, how we usually do. You study and work simultaneously, really. In the college called Access to Music. I think Rita Ora studied there as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Ed Sheeran, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Oh, you're in good company.
Yeah, good times. It was a good way to like get to know the culture, really, to get to know the kids, the English kids and the and from there just naturally stemmed into going to Manchester for uni. Didn't really want to go to uni because I just felt like if I just kept working on my stuff, get better at this. I already kind of had a vision just to make it that way. But then went to uni because it was very supplementary financially as well to like financial system, how it works for students here. So and then that's how I ended up in Manchester, and then decided to stay here because the vibes, man, the vibes.
I can only imagine. Oh man, like all my understanding of like the vibe in the UK and like the music scene and that kind of thing is all from the internet, from like UKF and like all of that. And it's funny that you say you sort of the 2012 kind of vibes back then too, because that was also around the time that I was first introduced to like bass music and drum and bass. And before that, I listened to a lot of music, was really like a big music head, but I'd never really come across, I guess, that kind of music. And then, like one YouTube algorithm leads to the other, and then you go down this hole, and I'm like, oh my God, drum and bass, like this is it. This is everything I've been looking for. And it's funny the uni thing too, because when I went to school for business, and when I graduated, I was like, because I always wanted to be a musician, but it wasn't really like a thing that was really, I guess, I believed as like a possibility or like really encouraged in like an Eastern European background too. My parents are like, computer programmers, and I must be good in math. And like, that's the important thing. Like my artistic interests are kind of like, that's nice, but it's not a career.
It's very common in Eastern European countries, isn't it? Like art is more like a hobby thing.
For sure. Sure. And, so I ended up going to business school, which I was really happy for anyway, because I figured like it might as well, I might as well gain some like other skills that might help my career later on. And I had this feeling that like, as soon as I finished school, this like I'll make it as a musician like right away. Like I just need a few months and then like I'm good. So like I graduated, made a SoundCloud account. It's like, okay, I just need a few months and then like I'm done. Like I'm gonna make it. And like sure enough, that's not how things work. Not now, not back then. But there's so much you can do. It just takes, I think, a little bit longer. So I got a job and like did still trying 10 years later, but still trying.
Hey, I proper get you on that one. It's but hey, like if I had to change anything, I wouldn't, because the amount of experience and how you learned the patience game. You master it so well when you don't get it straight away.
Yeah, true. So true.
So
man, there's a lot we can talk about here, but maybe before we get into that, so I think you guys had met in Manchester. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. How'd you guys meet each other, and then how did the whole kind of Perfect Mandem thing come together?
So we used to work together in a cocktail bar. It's called Lock 91.
Big up, Andy.
Big up. Yes, big up to Lock 91. And from there, just working together, and then
Awesome.
things took a head. We went to a few raves. I went to my first rave with Jev, and it was a massive one. It was Mefuse,
Wow.
Andy C, High Contrast.
Oh my gosh. First rave.
Yeah, it was like, if you can't fall in love like with D&B in that way, wow. And then we just started going to Pirate Studios. I don't know, have you got Pirate Studios? Basically, it's just like you rent out a studio with fully equipped with decks, really big sound system. There's also like recording studios. There's loads of stuff. So we have one in Manchester. So Jeb was like, sure, come along with me and I'll teach you how to DJ. And then we just fell in love with drum and bass and blending tunes.
Amazing.
And then, it was at the festival, this festival called Park Life. We were like there in the crowd, and we were like, that would be sick to be on stage in it, like. So
yeah, it was a time when we already were practicing, and we kind of having, it's like half having fun, half taking it seriously, to get to the point where DJing becomes fun as opposed to you keep doing mistakes, you know what I mean?
You know, it's such a good perspective to have, because I definitely lost that exact balance at some point, and I'm only just kind of in the last couple of years regaining it, like the remembering to have fun. Like I think I was trying to take it so seriously for a second that like I forgot that it's sometimes supposed to be fun as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fascinating how literally anything in life that brings you fun, as soon as you start thinking of it as it's like it becomes bigger than, like, you know, you want to make something amazing out of something big out of this, and all the attention that you put is on this, and you block everything else around you, the excitement just goes away straight away. I think it's like job, I suppose. Like if you start, that's why people say if you start treating anything like a job, that's when it becomes
sure way to fall out of love with it.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that you guys just like, especially in your sets, you're very clearly having fun, and it's so interesting how that energy, like when you see somebody doing something, like you as like another human being, like you pick up on that energy, and then it also like even now I'm getting like some goosebumps thinking about it, because like it's so crazy that that happens. Like is that chemistry or like I don't know the science behind it, but I love that you guys do that, and I'm so curious as well, like when you're so that's mostly like your DJ sets, but you also produce a lot of sick music, and I've loved your music, and I know you have an exciting album coming out on Korsakov. We'll talk about that. But yeah, like what was the whole kind of background and progression with you guys starting to make your own music and you like developing your music production skills?
Mm-hmm. I think like just to get it out of the way, I think the way how we like think of Perfect Mandem is it's like we don't just try to focus on it as a musical thing. We think of it as just like everything. We love to do a bit of everything, really. So the combination of what we do right now at this point is just the accumulation of what we have collected over the past. So I've been producing for like 10 years under, different music and stuff like that, and I've never touched drum and bass until Perfect Mandem though, like properly. So that was fun. But so yeah, the musical side was like the production side mostly from me, and the DJing thing is like I kind of knew how to DJ, but I didn't do it properly, like to the point where I can like be confident to come out and play, and and then we started kind of developing the skill together. when we started this thing.
Yeah.
And then around this, obviously, we kind of like learn how to vlog, how to do some silly stuff, which Aisling has been doing since like childhood as well. So it's just a bit of everything from everyone really, and just doing it together. And I think what works best in our scenario is just like we're both not afraid to try something that we've never done before. Like, and that's what we've been a great progressor.
Yeah, I think a big progressor as well is like we like just okay, we're gonna do a rap. Okay, well let's do it.
Yes.
Like it's just like no questions asked. It's like we're gonna try it. Like, you know, I think that definitely helps because it's like you get into this mindset thing of like, oh, well, what if it's not going to be good? If it's not good, it's not good. I'm not a rapper, you know what I mean? Like,
so far we found if it's not good, if it's better. You know, like if it's not professionally done, because it's just the era right now when it's all raw and silly.
Yeah.
It just works out in our favor a little bit that way.
Yeah, definitely. I like doing all this like professional touches of like video editing and stuff like that. Like I love that because it's actually just so nice to like polish everything. But then going mad on the stories.
Amazing. I loved your rap. I loved the video for it. I thought that was so funny and so sick, and you guys are awesome. I definitely love that you're kind of also keeping in mind just, I guess, trying new things, but also doing a little bit of everything, because it almost seems like that is the, I guess, ultimate strategy these days as like an artist, where you can't, I mean, you can, but like it's, I guess, a little bit more rare to only just be a singer, for example, and nothing else. It seems like I've heard the term recently, creative entrepreneur, and it seems like in order to, I guess, have a full-time, I guess, career as like a creative person, you do have to do a little bit of everything, because you're probably not going to be able to afford like hiring a videographer, you know, hiring necessarily like a rapper or like DJs for yourself, like all of the things that go along with like making a career as an artist. But if you're doing every little thing yourself and you're also having fun with it, like you're letting it you're growing your own inspiration from like trying new things, and you're like developing yourselves by doing that.
I really appreciate you saying that you're growing, because the most benefit I've extracted from trying to do everything yourself, not for the sake of not trying to stay away from others, but just for your own growth process, because you do understand music better when you know how motion graphics works and how you can combine these two together, which has been a really great progress.
It's already easier to talk to like bigger artists because you're so used to like talking behind the camera and stuff like that. So it's like you're more confident in who you are and stuff
when
like
it comes
that.
To
and like
cameras work,
and even with everything, like if you have more knowledge in motion graphics, then it's like, oh, you can have a conversation with someone that you wouldn't have had before and stuff like that. So just
it becomes a world of media right now. It's not just music as a music, innit?
It's world of media.
Even like big up yourself. You're doing this podcast thing of a flow with the show thing, and alongside with the other numerous stuff that you do already. And I mean, your journey has been quite epic as well. It was very inspiring. You do all the type of stuff, art and everything. You did the interview thing came out today.
The Dub Hub.
Yeah, I got my Dub Hub. That was cool.
Yeah.
It's been really nice, definitely, to have sort of my first kind of features, and I guess be on the other side of the
mad
coin.
respect
Thank
on
you.
the stage. Big up.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the vlogging and stuff and the video editing, I wanted to ask you guys, because I've first of all, I love that you do that. I love that you're showing like your personal development, like as it happens in real time, or like milestones. And it was really funny because I've seen a lot of your vlogs over the last year, but then I went back to like the very first one where you're like, hello, we're Perfect Mandem now, and we're starting. And
I forgot about that one.
And it's just like so amazing to just see the progress from the beginning. And it's so special that you've captured so much of this. So I kind of have like two questions here. One is, I've thought about vlogging for like the last kind of year and a half, especially in like lockdown and stuff. And, you know, the whole kind of personal development themes in my life is something that I that it comes up for me a lot. And
totally.
my partner Tyr is, definitely encouraged me to do vlogging, but I found that I have a hard time, like, it seems like something you really have to get used to, where like pulling out a camera just like in real time kind of do it. I feel like I've had a hard time, I guess, getting used to documenting more, and I'm like the whole, like speaking in front of a camera too. It's like, well, you set up the camera, I have to put my makeup on. Like it's a whereas like, I feel like in order to make it successful, like you guys, it needs to be quicker. I need to just pull out my phone like more often and be comfortable, I guess, being more vulnerable and sharing. And you guys do that so well. And I'm curious, like, if there's anything that's sort of helped you, like, in that, get into the groove of like just documenting things.
Document everything. What you see in a vlog is like 10% of what we take videos. Like we take so much videos. Like we've been slacking on it recently.
It's because of our style as well.
Yeah.
We've like, that's why before starting this conversation, we've been saying that it took us a long time to sit and chat in front of camera as if you're speaking to people. This is the reason why we did it just once or twice, and then after that, what we started doing is we call it archives instead of vlogs, because you document what is happening to you as opposed to you trying to create the situation.
Right.
That is just like the style we chose that we felt to go with. However, really, like, if I could recommend personally what gave us inspiration to vlog on a more like level of how to expand it, to build a story about the brand, is by watching a lot of Gary Vee, how he does it.
Yeah, I love Gary. I know he's not for everyone. He gets some hate, but I love him. He's been a very big inspiration.
Yeah. Do you reckon like Eastern European people proper get him because, the mentality and all that stuff as well?
It's like, don't listen to your parents. Doesn't matter. Like.
Exactly. Yeah, cause he can call you out on your shit easily. And, he's calling you out. Even though you're not even talking, you're just watching his content. Yeah, but really good advice is from there about, just like you said, documenting style and, how to approach it. I think right now is the era of the raw material. I think if you can afford to make it good quality, let's say your stuff, I personally consider to be like good quality.
Very high quality,
you got the depth of field happening in your camera between you and your background.
Yeah, that's an amazing.
We need to get on that level.
Yeah, can't wait to get a good camera like that.
Well, I mean, and this is again the Gary Vee in my voice saying like you could, it'll take a lot longer to make it more perfect, but then instead of that, you should do it more often, and then it's like that kind of thing. So I'm kind of trying to go the reverse of, just like the kind of the more daily documenting, and I feel like as you said, like it's more raw and almost more special in so many ways because you are capturing so many just special moments along the way. Like I loved like in one of your earlier vlogs, I think it was like after your like very first like in-person set or something, and then like seeing the chat and just like it almost made me cry because I know how special it is and you're like right there with you. So it also brings your audience and your listeners and fans like closer to you as well. And I have to say, like, your video editing style, this is actually one of my questions as well. Like you're so good at like being like funny on the internet, which is a skill. Like I think I'm funny in real life, but like to put that like in internet culture is like different. And your videos, like the editing is really sick and it's slick and it's funny and it's just so modern and like so is that something that you guys like had I guess Aisling, like is that something that you like learned as a kid or you went to school for, or you just like self-taught?
I learned a lot from Jev with this, to be fair. But then as well,
Aisling has a very special talent, to be fair, that I don't think she's like much aware of this, like about especially when it comes to animating and telling little jokes by editing.
The beauty of editing, this is the thing, like that is another thing when it comes to vlogging. Like you can edit anything and you can kind of make it look okay. Like so. Yeah,
we're still quite early in the process. Like we still learn a lot. Like obviously I have more of a like technical knowledge, so or when it comes to Aisling to do it, she just uses her raw associative.
Yeah, what I can
things.
understand. And it's
Yeah.
usually a long way of doing it. But YouTube is also great.
Yeah.
PewDiePie. I really was
Sick.
inspired by like how PewDiePie does his like little edits,
Right.
you know, especially when it comes to like this funny montages and stuff to like accentuate that something happened by like zooming in really
Yeah.
closely and all these little tricks. Yeah, it's YouTube game right now is strong on that. Just watching people how they do it
Right.
and trying to like when I was in university in Manchester. The guy that worked in BBC as a video editor for interviews and stuff, he said, if you do any type of trick, make sure you justify it. If you can justify it, then you can do it. If you have, because most of the times when we start out at anything and we learn a new trick, we just want to do it, apply it everywhere, and it's not
Right,
necessarily
yeah.
needed to be done. So that is really what kind of following this type of philosophy, it really helps to kind of keep it sensible
Interesting.
or ridiculous yet sensible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good perfect mandem. Ridiculous but sensible.
Can I get a witness?
Thank you. That's extremely helpful because I definitely I think a big area that I'm working to improve and like you said earlier, nowadays it's being an artist is about the world of media, and you can have music, but then so much of music is coming along with visuals and promotional content and that kind of thing. So I do have another question for you. I think I know the answer to this, but I'd love to I love the answer to this, so I'd love to give you guys a platform to share it. And that is the story behind your artist name, Perfect Mandem.
Jev, you can tell. You better.
It's a sick name. Sick name.
Well, it's something. First of all, that's something that Aisling has come up with. But
I think that was a teamwork.
well,
No.
basically we've been going on the way of one of our first practices in Paris studios to learn, the practice DJing thing. We've been fascinated by, and Aisling, before like getting involved with drum and bass, you come from this like grime music background, innit?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
heavily involved in this, like knows all the boys, and
All the Mandem.
Oh, the Mandem.
This is-
Yes.
so that all starts to make sense, and we've been basically talking about this culture, how in UK, you come across this, type of people, and they always like with the boys on their music videos, always like supporting each other, like and that's where Aisling just said Perfect Mandem, and then we never even spoke about this. She just said it Perfect Mandem, and we just like boom done, but it stayed in the mind.
Yeah.
Apparently, and then when we've been at that festival, when we've been watching Major Lazer playing on the stage, and we thought we can be just as dynamic, we can do the same thing if we wanted. So why don't we actually take it seriously and try to make something out of this? And straight away, the name Perfect Mandem just popped out from the back of my mind. Like, this is how we're gonna call ourselves.
Sick.
But it's not even like, because obviously right now we do this drum and bass. We involved heavily with drum and bass scene right now. So it's not really like, like Mandem thing, like this grime thing. So like,
Everyone's part of the Mandem.
Everyone's part of the
Everyone's part of the
Mandem,
Mandem, innit?
Yeah.
The fandom.
And the fandom, yes. Well, and I love that, like, you guys in your vlogs as well have talked about how, you're constantly trying to improve yourselves as humans and as performers and trying to reach that kind of like I guess closer to a state of like perfection, whatever that means. And it's something that I think about a lot, and like in my journey of self-development, find various like paradoxes, or I don't know if that's the plural of paradise. Paradixes.
Paradoxes.
Thank you.
No, it's paradoxes. I think.
So,
Right.
and in particular, like I've especially in the last year, I've come across this kind of interesting nuance where I'm trying to improve myself as a human and become better and stronger and healthier and kinder and more successful, like all these things. And at the same time, there is also a culture and a vibe of like, you should accept yourself as you are. You know, you should be happy with who you are and proud of yourself. And I also agree with that 100%. But then it's like, how do you accept yourself as you are, but then also improve yourself as a human on a day-to-day basis? So, yeah, it's I don't know. It's just something that I think about a lot, and I really appreciated that you guys commented on my. I had a post about my 8-month sobriety thing, and one of the things that really helps me is the David Goggins mindset, like stay hard. I thought that was really cool that he's resonated with you as well, because I think I only came across him within the last year, and like I very often in my head it's like, what would David Goggins do? Like, okay, I'm gonna go work out. Like, okay.
That's amazing.
That's such a good way to think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, David Goggins and The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock.
They are my two boys. Oh, The Rock, like, he's amazing as well.
Yeah.
he every single morning he's working out, like he's up before you.
He's so hungry to become the better version of himself every day, that what age he is, what success level he is. And I think he's hungrier than we are.
Yeah, 100%. He's just like, and he does everything. He's like super fit. He's an actor. I can sing as well. Like he's got a tequila company. He's just inspirational all around.
And everything. Yeah,
yeah, he's amazing. So I'm thinking about that's actually really true. Like thinking about those boys when you're like being lazy, it's like, okay, I can do this. Inspiration.
Well, and I think too that like I think one of the biggest things that inspires me from David Goggins, and I don't follow The Rock too closely, so I think I'll look into that. Thank you. One of the things that I think really motivates me is when they talk about like just the struggles or the things that they've overcome, because I've definitely, there's no shortage of, I guess, fitness influencers on my Instagram where it's like, this is how I squat today. I'm like, yes, I know how to squat, but like this isn't like necessarily gonna like inspire me to like get up and squat right now. But then when I hear like all the things that like David Goggins has gone through in his life, and like just his childhood, and then also that even nowadays, even though he's like such a beast, that he like there are days where like he thinks about cheeseburgers, or he like takes him like half an hour to put on his running shoes because he doesn't want to. And so it's like, it seems like those stories for me personally is what seems to like click with me versus like somebody that's already successful and it's like, okay, great, well, I don't
100%.
The realist real, like I'm actually glad you said it, because I was thinking about it a lot recently. Like I was looking into more like health and fitness videos again, like because I used to be like really into it like back in the day. I still am really into it, but like I was like watching them like every day, and like I was looking into them, and it's like they're all well and good, but like they actually don't tell you like what exactly like like they've done in that day. You've not just done that workout, you've probably like been walking around, like like you have more of a lifestyle than just this workout. So it's not realistic to say like do this workout you're gonna look like me, because it's not realistic. Like you're not the same person. And as well, like you like and just like history of like who they are and like what they go through, and mentally some people, I think it's definitely becoming better, like people are talking about it more and more. But I definitely agree that like knowing the real people in these like amazing people, like everyone has struggles and everything like that, and it's like really helps.
It really does. And again, just taking it back to like your content, it always brings me like positivity and motivation, and I've been so happy to see you guys just like gain so much success over the last couple of years. And I think you said you recently played your first international show. Big up the Mandem! Like,
Yes. Man. It was fun. Romania.
Sick.
Near city Cluj-Napoca.
It
was cool experience to having all this like flight experience, go somewhere. However, probably not the best time, because we got stuck in Barcelona for 3 days on the way back. Because of COVID and that. But however, it was amazing experience. We had our personal driver.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Sick.
That was just like so surreal. It was like, what? You're here for us?
Personal Mandem. Sorry,
it
I'm
was-
gonna
it was
throw in
nice.
Mandem like every.
That's in a Mandem.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it must be such a cool feeling to feel that progress from your practices over to now starting to play international shows and stuff. And I'm actually also curious, like, because you're doing so many different things, like, how do you balance your time between like DJ practice, DJ sets, music production, social media, content creation and engagement, and trying to be healthy, and family, and like
Totally.
work. I mean, I if you don't mind like answering as well, I'd love to know if you guys are still like kind of working to supplement your income as artists, or are you able to like make the full leap into like full-time artist stuff?
Yeah, it's been, well, first of all, obviously COVID has affected people in various ways, mostly like people, especially artists. Obviously their income has been damaged and stuff like that. We've been lucky enough because we didn't know what it is like earning money by playing shows, so it didn't affect us in any way. However, on the opposite way, it worked out for us in a kind of like better way than pre-COVID, because of how everything turned out. We've been live streaming DJs before, and then as we walked into COVID, it became a thing. So it was better for us. So we kind of could spend more time doing Perfect Mandem stuff. And because in England you've been furloughed, so you're getting paid.
Right.
You're getting like, what is it?
80%, I think,
of your income stuff. So that was good. And yeah, in terms of productivity, it's a very big topic. It's something that like always been passionate about. And it's funny that you asked this now, because only recently it's like a version 2.0 of our way of how we work right now, because we have interest not just like in making music, but so we basically, what we made right now is like different days for different tasks, and this so far has been the best way over all the COVID time period until now, because even though you're not going to work, you think you have so much free time on your hands, but you don't really like get so much stuff done as you think you should be getting done, because you have so much time. And obviously because you're human, you're not robot. It's not just like I have 12 hours of doing stuff that it's all going to be done. It doesn't work like that. So splitting tasks for different days. Let's say today is our music day. Tomorrow is going to be our video editing day and filming. And the day after is going to be DJing day. So this is basically the day when you fully dedicate and prepare for, and dedicate yourself, okay, we're going to be practicing DJing or making a set if it's a DJ day. Animations day is making something in After Effects. Right now, obviously the EP time coming out, and like for us it's quite a personal project. So we're doing all the animations and covers ourselves as well for this. And yeah, splitting it into separate days is better than having different tasks over one day, because it all becomes a mishmash. And the most benefit I personally extract from it is that I get excited to wake up earlier, because I know, I couldn't do music for the last 3 days. Today is the day. I'm gassed. And I better not waste my time, because this is the day, and tomorrow I won't be able to do it because it's another day, for another type of activity. So it's experimental thing. However, how it sorts out your mental state is amazing, because every day you just focus just on that particular thing, and you get to chill every day as well. You don't just spend all day doing this stuff as well, innit? But if you've been doing music, animation and video editing, you don't have time to chill throughout the day, and that is not good. We're not marathon runners. We need to do like little sprints and then chill and then do a little sprint. I'm talking productivity wise.
That's really interesting. I haven't tried that, and I can definitely see how that might help, not only with all the things you said, but also like burnout. I feel like when I'm trying to do so many creative things, and then it's like every day it's like a whole bunch of creative things, and then I find that eventually after a few weeks, like I'll have a day where like I don't want to do like anything because I'm so burnt out from like all the things and or I'll like procrastinate certain things. Like I've been trying to do video editing for the last podcast episode and I keep like pushing it to the next day because it's like a really big task and I'm trying to do all the other things. I also really resonate with what you're saying about how like at the beginning of the pandemic where you think like, oh, you're gonna like now be like superhuman. And I definitely, I was in a little bit of a different situation than I am now, which was I've been working like a corporate job for the last like 10 years, various jobs. And then I was still working in a corporate kind of like sales, finance, office kind of thing. And when COVID first started and we were like all working from home, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to become like the best version of myself. I'm going to do squats all day at home. I'm going to like work on music during my lunch and like all this kind of stuff. And then after a couple of months, I was like, oh, this isn't happening. Like, why? I thought I was like a very motivated and strong person. And it was a very tough realization of like, now I finally have the time and space that I've been craving for all this time, and I didn't do anything, or I mean I did stuff, but like I didn't go as hard as I thought I would, and it was a tough thing, and in fact some things went into like the opposite direction, and that's sort of
totally. That's why I think, well, personally for us, all the situation, obviously not talking about the effects that people dying and people going through big problems, but what also it does, it is human induced, all this COVID situation, and it induced for a reason, because the situation exposes ourselves to ourselves. All our excuses that we've been making up, all of the excuses I've been making, oh, I can't do this because I'm working too much, or these people pissing me off, or something like this, you know. When all that is being taken away, nothing is changed. You still behave in the same way, and that's what made me feel like, okay, there's some science behind it. There has to be science of behavior behind it. It's not, and looking into like some books was really good way to learn about yourself during this time. Like The Power of Now is how to stay in the present moment and stuff.
Sorry, that was like one of literally the only book I think I read in the COVID. And that's a big shout out to a stranger. A good one. Oh my goodness.
Stranger.
Well, yeah, he's recommended that book to me a long time ago, and then I finally I read it.
Stranger looks like the kind of guy that would read that book. Yeah. I get the good vibe from him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Big ups, man. Yeah, it's such a beneficial book, isn't it?
I think that's probably why one of the reasons I named the show Flow with the Show as well, because it's like this is going to be an exercise of like staying in the moment and now. And like, that's Flow with the Show. I do try to be a little bit cheeky and clever with my lyrics when possible, but
speaking of which, The River Flows. It's probably, like, on my opinion, the best tune of this year so far.
Honestly, in love with it. Like, it just brings such a nice energy to the room. Like,
you shine so well as a vocalist. You have such a specific style.
Thank you.
Wow. Big up.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. It was one of those tracks where I feel more.
I could feel you feeling good, like, you know, bossing it.
Yeah, I definitely feel more like it was like a very authentic representation of who I am as an artist, and I feel like I've been trying to find myself as an artist for many, many years, and that one I feel was a very close to the vision of like what I've been trying to do and maybe not been able to do. I have, you know, for example, tried to do some more kind of raps and things with my other tracks, and then usually the label says, "Can you take that part out?" I'm like, okay. But in this case, I was like, you know what? I think maybe for the first time I will stay true to the vision. And that vocal was originally actually written for a completely different instrumental, and it didn't work out. Usually I take label feedback and I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm going to learn from this and it works out. But that was the first scenario where I was like, I have a feeling that I should actually hold on to this vocal, and that's later, like a year and a half, 2 years later, is when I approached Nympho to do the instrumental, and was able to release it on my own album and Strange's label Deviant, which I help with. So it was almost kind of like a self-release, and I'm really glad. And your feedback just means the world to me, because
mate, I'm so glad you did stay true to your inner feeling that could be a thing.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear that background story on it, because it's like definitely worth definitely.
Yeah, and I think for others who's watching and listening, it's a very good message that you're saying, is that it's good to stay true to your vision. If you feel like this could be the way, even though other people might tell you no. Majority of the times when people say is because they're, if it's not because it's bad, which obviously in your case it's not the case, it's because they're not ready for it, because it's something different, which means authenticity, and that's what people are looking for. But authenticity is not always greeted positively, because no one is ready for the change, for something new in it.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
And it's definitely a tricky situation as well, because you don't know if you should actually take feedback. Like I was always trying to think like, well, if I'm getting this feedback, then maybe it should actually be better, or maybe I should learn something. And in many cases, I'm sort of grateful that I ended up being more, I guess, humble and agreeing to like hear other people's feedback, because I also don't want to be an artist that is like difficult to work with or doesn't take feedback and like that whole thing. Yeah. But I think too, as you said, like it is important to sometimes you have to listen to your own inner voice, and all the other voices can get really loud, and Gary Vee will say something about this as well, and so I really appreciate that. And then also, speaking of things that people maybe aren't ready for, Aisling, I think I saw you made like chickpea cookies. Is that? I've never had that before. I feel like I'm ready for it. I'm ready to not eat real cookies and have chickpea. Like.
Honestly, they're amazing. They're so tasty. Like
banging.
Chef's kisses. Yeah. Chef's kisses. Like they are worthy. Even like. So many of my friends actually say they're banging. I definitely recommend trying it. Like, I also have this banana bread recipe as well.
This is something that you definitely need to try.
Yeah.
Like, maybe chickpea cookies. If you feel like you want to go for it first, go for it. But banana bread is gonna change your life.
Oh man.
Yeah. Healthy banana bread. Well, it's kind of
that's healthy enough. Are you vegan? I feel like I saw that somewhere.
I was vegan for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
4 years when I moved to Manchester, but like recently I've been more vegetarian.
Easy vegan.
Easy vegan.
Nice.
Easy vegan, yes. Because I'm mainly vegan, but like cheese, chocolate. So like sometimes you can allow it.
I mean, I do love that in this day and age that we have more and more, I guess, like alternative options. And so many things are gluten-free, and so many things are like are vegan, or I've been enjoying a lot of, like, I'm not vegan, but I do sometimes try to like limit my dairy intake, and there's a lot of like dairy-free cheeses that are getting better than they were like 5 years ago, and
yeah, they are getting better. They are getting much better. Honestly, since because I went vegan when I moved to Manchester first, so that was 5 years ago. Since then, wow. It has changed so much. There's so much more options. Every restaurant you go has at least one, if not 2, 3, 4 vegan options. Like it's a great time to be have a dietary requirement, special dietary requirement.
Okay, so I do want to talk about your album. So for those listening, this is being recorded sort of towards the end of September, and it will be released sort of early October, right around the time of October.
Hello from the past.
Hello from the past. We have time traveled. And I know October 1st is a very special day. That is the release date of Vibes and Colors, your new EP on Korsakov. What up, what up?
Pew, pew, pew.
Would love to talk about the EP EP. I listened to it. Thank you for sending it. I think it's awesome. My favorite track is No Pass because I love like funny, I guess, or just like creative use of like samples and vocal samples and things like that.
And is it because Canada was mentioned there as well?
A little bit. Not biased. Not biased. Oh my God, you never hear this. I also love that you guys have a couple tracks on there that change tempo, which I think is really, really cool and creative. I do have more questions, but first of all, I'd love to know kind of what your experience was like with this album compared to your previous albums.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we actually, since March till like September, we haven't been much on social media. We haven't been vlogging. Those who follow us, big up to because everyone seems to be so understandable and everything. So big up to everyone who follow us and supports us, our patrons as well. It's been a great support of people understanding what we're going through. But what we've been going through, basically, we just took the lab time, learned the craft a bit better before stuff happening, and we've been kind of all these like tunes that we've made in the Vibes and Colors. They've been made a while back, but it's always been a thing that we weren't ready to get them out because we didn't feel like the sound design, or not even sound design, but mixing quality was there. And like, so we kind of just been learning a lot on. I
think it's been a constant improvement when it comes to mixing and mastering. Like from week to week, it's like, oh my God, I can master it even better, like even better and even better. And it's been a learning process.
Yeah, I always do this thing where everything I've learned, I straight away share it with Aisling, because it's good for you to put it in your memory better, and for Aisling obviously to learn the craft, because obviously you haven't been doing it since childhood, so it's kind of like kickstart into the scene in a way. And man, we work on this laptop, and this laptop is not good when you put many heavy plugins in it. And majority, like around the 1 month time just spent on like putting all the details in these tunes, but like you get 99% CPU throttling, so you can just constantly getting these things.
Constantly like boom, boom, boom.
We try to be clever and like go through some resampling stages to kind of ease out the thingy, the load, but. It's always like every EP is a learning progress, not just like how to make music, how to approach music. We love speculating on philosophy of music, like what makes that particular tune dancing. So you try to understand it from a psychological point of view, and we've been basically taking lots of time and revisiting those tunes after learning something new, thinking if it can do something. Cool with this, and that's where the idea, let's say, two different BPMs came in. Is that when we as DJs we never usually blend second drops, we just go for the first one and then out of the way straight to the next. So we felt like we don't want it to be like a copy paste type of thing, like, and we felt like we could tell a story a little bit in a more different way, or like if you want to leave a tune to play until second drop. When you play it for the crowd, there's a reason behind it because it's something different. So we had so much fun making tunes like No Pass and Soldier. It's just been like looking forward to just come up and sit with them. It's just those tunes that silly songs. We love doing those tunes a lot.
We love silliness.
We love silliness. To be fair, like,
it's just so
as
fun.
We
like
go through it,
Well, and speaking of silly, I like peanut butter is my other favorite. I have to say, it's so unexpected, and it just made me smile. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is amazing. You don't expect it, and the vocal, Aisling, is that you? I feel like it's you, but I don't. I'm like, am I missing something? Is it? It's you, right?
That's Aisling's first ever time spitting bars, and she was improvising, and we were just like recording.
It's perfect.
It was third ever tune that made us Perfect Mandem. We actually made this tune when we just started Perfect Mandem.
Years ago, because like originally our idea with Perfect Mandem, we were going to make all kinds of music all the time, you know, like so we were just like, okay, let's make this, let's make that. So Peanut Butter was one of those tunes that we just bashed out one night, and we were just like, sick. It has to go on this, because the story behind Vibes and Colors, this EP, as you can see, it's all different. Every tune is like a really different vibe, really different color. So it was the time for Peanut. Exactly. It was the time.
Amazing. Yeah, I remember, I think I heard it in like one of your earlier vlogs. I'm like, oh, this is exclusive. It's coming. Like,
oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's
I
amazing.
love that you just decided to, I guess you're able to be silly and put that out. I feel like you really only have a chance to do things like that on your own albums. It's just an experience that I'm kind of learning for the first time, because my whole thing as a vocalist has been like other people's projects and like making sure that I'm fitting like what they need. And only really for the first time over this last year, I've been creating my debut album and like understanding like what does this even mean to like be able to create your own thing. And yes, you have, you know, some label constraints or other, I guess, maybe like requirements, but which is often, I guess, also good for creativity. But yeah, just having this, I guess, like freedom of like, what if you had a platform or an opportunity to share something, like what would you share? And I love that you guys are just doing, in addition to like really sick technical music, also just like really fun stuff. I feel like that's probably what's also made you really stand out, in my opinion, because, you know, there's millions of different artists out there, but you guys came across my feed like a year ago or something, and I just fell in love with you guys right away. And every time I see your content, it's just like, yeah, it's unique, and like I really feel like the raw vibes of like who you guys are, and it's always positive and lovely. And this feels like a conclusion, but it's not. It's I guess
it's an interesting perspective that you say that, like, you know, from your background, like, you know, you kind of would it be appropriate to say work on demand, or like, you know, work being directed in it, like what people need from you?
Yeah, whether it's
as a vocalist,
whether it's directly or not. Like a lot of the times, producers will say just go with the flow, so to speak, and I will. But it's still, you know, it has to match their music, or like, you know, then the label has to like it, and you know, they get to pick the artwork and like all of that whole thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's yeah. We didn't really gladly, because I just feel like it's difficult for us to keep to one agenda, even to the point that we sit in the studio and we were like, well, studio, welcome to the studio. We'll sit and just like, okay, let's make a roller. It ends up to be no pass.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's difficult to even follow our own agenda sometimes, just like wherever it takes you.
Going wild. That's why literally Vibes and Colors in it. Like everything is so different. Like, but we really enjoy making all these kind of different kinds of music. So we were just like putting them all together. Kind of, it makes sense when you put that title on it. I think it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I think that was the main idea. We had like different ideas, and then when we realized, okay, we have some, because it's not like, I try not to think of it as a problem, but like, you know, many artists, why I see their strengths is that they have a developed certain sound signature.
Right.
You know, let's say you think of Alex Perez, you think of Boo, you think of Matthews, you know, there's many established artists. When we try to like come up with ours, I think we're still kind of discovering. And we're just touching so many different vibes and colors, so that's why the name came in. And we just thought, okay, so for this project, we're just gonna compile different types of different flavors of drum and bass, and just made them how we perceive it to be from our own, output.
It almost seems like that's like probably the right way to go about it, and it's also something that I think Strange had as advice for his audience, which is like, sometimes if you're going into the studio and you're trying to be creative, like you do have to let like all the possibilities come and be open to them and be curious. And it's something that I hadn't really experienced much either, because I was for a long time, I was very like serious of like, okay, today, like I'm going to write this. And sometimes it felt like I was like forcing it, and still after like an hour, not getting anywhere. But then if you're going the other way of like just letting whatever comes, or like be curious or go after ideas and just like maybe have a little bit more fun, or let yourself imagine new things and experiment.
Yeah.
It almost seems like in that is where you then get even more creative, and you're creating, I guess, more art.
It's good for the soul.
I'm learning, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see, like you said, even with the tune like River Flows and your debut solo album, you will. I'm sure it's just like such a big stepping stone going to be for you, because you get to express yourself without even thinking how others people gonna like what they're gonna think about it. It's more about you to get to know yourself first by making it. So yeah, man, I think we're proper looking forward to this. I think you have such a great basis in, you have a big background behind you.
Thank
and
you.
Obviously our brains, they're cooking they use every ingredient that we've collected over the past lifetime of this lifetime. So you have so much experience. I think you're in a really good position to actually go for it and experiment and at least for one album, see how it goes, and you're definitely gonna love it anyway. So it's a no-brainer.
Thank you. Well, I'm very excited about your album as well, and speaking to our past selves, congratulations on the release. It's out now. I have one last question for you guys, and and then we can sort of wrap it up. I just really appreciate your time, and it's so lovely to chat with you.
Thank you for having us. It's so much fun.
So you guys work as a duo, and it's something that's also, I think, connected me or drawn me to you guys, because I work very closely with Tyr, a Kahoot, and Tyr Kahoot. I don't know, I said that weirdly. Tyr Kahoot, and my Mandem, and he. So we work together a lot in like many different kind of creative ways and creative projects. He's my vocal engineer, tech supervisor on this podcast. We'll be processing the audio later. Thank you, Tyr. We'll be color correcting the video as well. So hello. And so we've definitely learned a lot from each other and supported each other throughout the years. And because you guys work as a duo, I'd love to know what impact or maybe one thing that you've learned from each other. So Aisling, I will probably ask you to go first, if that's okay. What have you learned from Jev, or what impact has he had?
I've learned a lot, but mainly just, I think what I've learned from him by him supporting me like a lot is like just, and us supporting each other, just go for it. Just go for it. Like, what I mean? Like, it might seem scary, because it could be very scary, but it's not a big deal. Like, because like you're just doing as long as you're doing your thing and you're happy in what you're doing, like just go for it, try it out. It doesn't work, no worries. Like, and also have learned the power of editing from Jev.
Nice.
In a big way, because I like to leave a lot of things in, and he was like, no, edit it, and it's just like, I've learned a lot from that as well.
Beautiful. Yeah. Go for it. Totally, man. Oh my gosh. I know. I need that advice too. Thank you, Jev.
Well, from Aisling, I think the biggest thing I've learned is to appreciate your like life around you. Appreciate life around, because like I'm very like, I can be very like this, and it took me a lot of observing Aisling to learn how to be like this. Aisling's like the reason that I think why Perfect Mandem worked, and which is a really miraculous thing, I think, because it was, don't get us wrong, we were having fun getting into this thing, but there was a lot of pressure to get it quick. We wanted to get it quick, and we were like, there was like certain level of, there've been tears and you know, all this stuff, but like it's been tears not of like regrets or anything. It's been tears that like we're gonna have it, like even though we're struggling, and this is what I've learned from Aisling, and like that crazy thing, she just went for it. She was not related to music industry in any way, and she just went for it because she thought it could be a good crack. And she just went for it and she stick to it. It's not just went for it and tried it and then it's too hard. She waited until the moment when it starts to feel good to then judge, is it for her or not for her. And this is like, you know, you don't really get to see this a lot, like in many people. So that was like a big learning thing for me. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So big ups.
Yeah, the whole just like appreciating and being grateful for all the things around you as well is has been a really important thing for me to learn and take more into my life as well. You can get so like focused or lost in sort of what's exactly in front of you, and unless you actually make it a practice, you can often forget that even just breathing and having running water and, you know, all these basic things are huge, that we can be grateful for as well. And it's amazing. I mean, I think Perfect Mandem is a miracle, honestly. Like, you guys have, it's really, it feels like the right thing that you've created, and I just wish you the best success. Congratulations on the album.
Oh, thank you very much.
Only bright things ahead, and for all the tough roads, may we have the patience and the Goggins beast mode and perseverance, and we will learn and grow together, and we will all become Perfect Mandem.
Indeed. Well, hey, it's really cool that you got us on, because it kind of it forced us to, like, you know, research you, obviously, to come prepared for this, and you are killing it, man. You just have such a background behind you, like, you have such a story to tell, and it's really good that you realize that and try to do that as well.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, the camera was gone. Yeah, so we're definitely watching you right now. Like, you're probably the most exciting artist right now to watch in the scene, especially in the vocalist world, because obviously I think it's a smaller world than production world, isn't it? So we're definitely looking forward to hear what you've got coming next.
I'm so excited.
You've got a really cool style. I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Well, I'm also looking forward to more vocals from Aisling, more raps from you guys, more dancing from Jev. Really, really excited for everything you guys have to come, and thank you again so much for joining me. I'm going to put all the links and stuff to your album, to your socials, in the description. I've also got Riverflow's new merch. Speaking of Riverflow's, Perfect Mandem, like it. That's it. That's all I needed. And for everyone listening, thank you again so much for joining us, and hope you take care. Lots of love. Thank you, Perfect Mandem, Jev and Aisling.
Sending the love. Sending the love.